This, my friends, is a tomahawk ribeye steak, and this is a beauty. In short, it's basically a ribeye steak with the rib bone sticking out. Obviously, the name tomahawk is from the shape of it. Also goes by a couple different names depending on the length of the bone. If it's a shorter bone, it can also be called a cowboy ribeye. A longer bone is a tomahawk. No bone is just a regular ribeye steak. Now there's a lot of different ways of cooking steaks, right? Anytime that I'm cooking a thicker cut like this, so this guy is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. I like to do the reverse sear method, so that'll just ensure that the inside stays nice and pink edge to edge and the outside of it doesn't overcook. But we won't just be grilling this guy, we're gonna give it a caveman sear finish. So what is that exactly? That means we're gonna take this big old hunk of meat and we're gonna throw it directly on the charcoal and sear it that way. Well, let's get started and season this guy up and get it ready for the grill. As far as the prep goes, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. I'm gonna season it with a mix of kosher sea salt and black pepper. Before we throw the seasoning on the steak, we're gonna make a little binder. So this will help the salt and pepper adhere to the meat. So we'll do a mixture of avocado oil and soy sauce. About equal parts. Mix it all together. And just brush it right on the meat. So this is something that I picked up from Sam the cooking guy. I normally don't use binders, but this looked like an interesting way of adding some extra flavor to the meat. So we'll see how it turns out. Just make sure you get the outside as well. And just season with salt and pepper. It's a thick cut, so don't be stingy with the salt and pepper. The meat can definitely take it. Nice coating also on the outside. We'll do the other side. And it smells great already, especially that soy sauce. Man, there's just something tasty about brushing your meat and kind of building out those flavors. We'll season the other side. And this guy is ready, so I'm gonna let it sit at room temperature for about 20 minutes or so while I go get the grill ready. So just a quick note about the seasoning, you know, I went salt and pepper, which is just a really basic and classic way of seasoning your steaks, but you can definitely use any sort of rub mixture that you'd like, even marinate on these, right? You know, variety is the spice of life, so go as crazy or as simple as you want on these and really try to experiment with the different flavors, just like I did with the avocado oil and soy binder that I applied to the tomahawk. You know, I've never done that before, so I'm curious to see how that'll turn out and if those flavors will enhance the meat, as I suspect they will. Whew, it's a beautiful day out here. So I brought my steak outside. It's been sitting for about 20-25 minutes now, sweating nicely. That salt and pepper is pulling out all that moisture to give it that nice finish. I've got my egg cruising a little under 250, which is a good temperature. It's set up for indirect cooking, so I've got my lump charcoal, my plate setter, and the grate on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my tomahawk right on the grate and start cooking it. So I'm cooking this on my big green egg, but you can make it the same exact way on any grill. Just be sure to start it up in direct heat, right? Meaning so there's no direct flame or a heat source right underneath the meat. We're bringing it up nice and slow, about 250, 225. So in my case, I'm gonna pull the tomahawk off at about 115 internal, remove that plate setter, crank up the heat, and then throw it directly on the coals to finish. And the way that we'll be able to ensure our temperature is by using a leave-in thermometer. So we're going to take our probe, put it right here in the thickest part of the steak. Close that. So here's the deal. Our steak is approaching 117. It's been on for about 45 minutes or so. Let's see how it's looking here. Well, it's not much to look at now because it was just cooking indirectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. Take the probe out first. Grab it by the bone. Set it on my cutting board. It's kind of cold out here, so I'm going to bring this inside while I get the grill ready for the sear. I took the plate setter out, and there's my lump charcoal all nicely etched over. You can see the flames right there building up underneath. So this is ready for the caveman sear. So again, the idea is to put the steak right on top of the coals. I'll wait just a little bit more until they're fully fired up, and then we'll throw it on. Okay, here we go. Let's throw this guy and give it a reverse sear on the charcoal. So what you want to do is just put the steak right on the charcoal and leave it. Let those coals work its magic and create that unbelievable crust on it. Let that burn right into the meat. Time-wise, I'm going to leave it on for about a minute per side. You don't want to go more than a minute and a half because then you run the risk of overcooking the outer edges of your steak. Look at that crust. Oh, man, what a beauty. So now flip it over and do the other side. As that fat is rendering down and hitting the charcoal, it's creating a lot of smoke. So it might be a little hard to see, but again, just leave it on about a minute per side, no more than a minute and a half. And then I'll pull it off and bring it inside. Check that out. Here it is. Our steak is inside. Now I'm gonna let this guy rest for about 10-15 minutes. It's a big piece of meat and I wanna wait for all those juices to redistribute before slicing it open. Now that the steak has rested, it's time to cut it open. So what I like to do is just cut right down here along the bone, separating the bone from the ribeye, just like so. So this guy here is a little treat for the chef. You can gnaw on this, eat all this off. This is really good stuff. So here we go, moment of truth. Let's cut it right down the middle and see how it turned out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this looks awesome. Not sure how well you can see it in the video, but you get that nice edge to edge pink right in the middle. There's no overcooked spot and it's just absolutely juicy. I don't want to squeeze too much out of it, so let's keep slicing this guy. Look at that. That is juicy, tender, nice color inside. It's as good as it gets right here. Okay, let's give this guy a taste. Look at these pieces. I mean, they're just dripping with juice. So let me cut this up. So one of the best parts about the ribeye is that you get the meat and you also get the fat right there on the bottom. And getting that piece in one is the best bite you can get. Delicious. Delicious, very tender. that crust on the outside hits you right away. You can taste the salt, the pepper, that hard sear from the charcoal, and they just melt. They just melt. So let me tell you something. If you're on the fence, or if you're a little intimidated by these tomahawks when you see it at the store, you know, don't be. Pick it up. Follow this process. It's super simple, and it's delicious. I mean, it's as good as it can be. Look at these things. Just dripping with flavor. Let me get another piece. I just cut off another piece, so this is from the cap of the ribeye. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but this is one of the best bites of beef, of any steak, in my opinion. So this is very well marbled. It's very well marbled. You can see all the kind of fat running through the meat. So let me try this piece real quick. So good. These just melt in your mouth from all the marbling and all the fat that's inside the muscle tissue, but still very flavorful. You know, using just salt and pepper really just enhances the flavor of the beef without being overpowering. And using that soy sauce, I think, enhances it even more. So I'm liking that new combo of using the avocado oil and soy sauce for the binder. Oh yeah. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm gonna link all the products that I used. I'd have the full recipe written out so it's easy to follow. And if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.